So last night was the first night that I hadn't had a drink in 15 years.
Hi, my name is Rick Culleton. I've been sober for a week now after having drank fairly heavily for 38 years. In this series of videos, I'm going to show you what I went through over the past 7 days, and at the end, I've got some data from my Oura Ring, my Garmin watch, and a couple of places that I'll share with you that I think you might find interesting.
So last night was the first night that I hadn't had a drink in 15 years. I feel all right. I felt a little scared last night, actually, kind of weird, but I slept okay, and I feel really good this morning.
Well, it's day 2 with no alcohol. Yesterday I flew from Manhattan to Texas. At the airport, I gave into a banana nut muffin. I had a bit of a sugar craving. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again. Last night, it took a little bit longer to fall asleep, I guess because I had to fall asleep instead of pass out, but I got about 6.5 hours of good sleep according to my Oura Ring. This morning, my heart rate variability was 24, which is the highest score I've ever had. Could just be a fluke, but we'll see. I'm expecting some pretty interesting data. Last night I craved a beer. My wife got me a non-alcoholic IPA that was just incredible by a company called Athletic Brewing. Hats off to those guys. If you'd given me that thing at a bar out of a tap, I never would have suspected that it was alcohol-free. That was a great tasting beer, and it's a big help. So I'll keep you posted. Well, it's day 3. This 3 nights without alcohol. This is the longest I have gone without a drink in 38 years. I'm 57 years old. I drank mostly at night. As a matter of fact, not usually during the day at all. I'd start at 6 o'clock and drink 3 to 4 pint-sized IPAs and then 2 to 3 glasses of red wine every day. Last night, around 6, I craved a beer and I had another one of those non-alcoholic IPAs. It kind of did the trick and got me through that period, and then everything was fine afterwards. I got very tired at the end of the day. By 7 o'clock, I was really dragging. I was in bed and at 9 o'clock and asleep almost immediately. I slept 8 hours and 10 minutes last night, which was pretty remarkable. I felt great again this morning, which I have every day. The mornings in the early afternoons seem above normal, or at least normal. I've got more energy in the mornings than I had before. I seem to be awake immediately and not in a bit of a fog. I never thought I had hangovers, but I've never not drank, so I guess I'm not even sure what that felt like. But I feel more energetic early in the day, and I get more done as soon as I get out of bed. Afternoons seem pretty normal. I don't think a lot about the drinking during the day. I have that one spot, early afternoon, late afternoon, where I'm craving that beer, but I'm sure that's going to pass within time. I'm very excited about the future. I was very nervous the first day when I decided to quit, and it was a very spur of the moment thing for me to decide to stop. As a matter of fact, that Friday that I quit, I'd gone to the beer store and bought some expensive IPA that I'd put in the fridge that I ended up throwing away that day. I don't know what I thought about this for a long time, and I guess it was just the right time. I wish I'd done this many years ago. Like I say, I'm 57 now, and I've been drinking my entire adult life. But I'm very excited for what's to come, and I'm prepared for whatever challenges are ahead. Around December, my daughter and I got Oura Rings, and I started paying attention to something called heart rate variability, and it made me take a second look at how I had viewed my alcohol use, and I realized that I had a head in the sand approach to what alcohol was doing to my health. Heart rate variability played a big part in my final decision to stop drinking, but I've been following people like Stephen Bartlett, Tom Bilyeu, and Jay Shetty for quite some time, and have a lot of respect for those guys. None of them drink, and I always considered myself extremely healthy, and missing that one part, the alcohol in my life was definitely holding me back. I started a course with Core Performance around the beginning of the year with Julie Hutchinson, which led me to HeartMath, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and some other resources that helped me make this decision. It's something that I've been putting off for a long time. It's something I wish I'd done many years ago, but I am certainly glad that I did it now. And I hope that you find these helpful. It's day 4. I feel pretty good, better than I'd expected, to be honest. Last night I didn't feel nearly as tired as I had the 2 previous days. There's a little bit of fatigue late in the afternoon, but I stayed up until 9:45. Fell asleep as soon as I got to bed and slept all night long, almost undisturbed, 7 hours and 45 minutes. One thing I've noticed is I don't have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I guess because I haven't drank so much beer and wine. I've lost 2.5 pounds in the first 4 days. I don't know if that trend is going to continue. I guess that's not necessarily a bad thing. I feel very refreshed in the morning. When I wake up, I'm just ready to go. Before I've even had my first espresso, it seems like I'm ready to get things done. Whereas before, I'd be in a bit of a fog, even though I didn't think I had a hangover. It took me a while to get going. Yesterday was Monday, and the first day of work, so I had a Zoom meeting at noon, and I've got ADHD. I never suffer for words, but things flowed very well. I felt that my thoughts were much more connected, and it was just easier for me to process things and make decisions throughout the call. I think that there's some mental clarity coming back. Last night we tried some alcohol-free wine that tasted like Kool-Aid. We dumped it out before I even finished the first glass. I do still like that alcohol-free IPA. My trigger I think is 6 o'clock. When that time rolls around, I'm craving a beer still, and I pour that into a pint glass and drink it. And like I say, it tastes like real beer, and it gets me through that moment. So far, I'm not going out to dinner. I usually eat out more than I do at home, but I think I tend to go out to drink more than I go out to eat. So I'm not really ready to venture out to a restaurant yet, but I think that time will come pretty soon. There's an event scheduled this Friday that I think I'm going to try to attend. That's actually in a bar. We'll see how the cravings and everything else go. So far so good. I'll be honest, this is a little bit easier than I had expected, maybe even quite a bit easier. I started smoking when I was 12 or 13 and drinking when I was 15. I quit smoking when I was in my 20s. Same way I did this, just all at once out of the blue, just quit. And I remember it being a bit more difficult than this is, probably because I smoked all day, every day, and I was craving cigarettes every day, all day, whereas the alcohol trigger is really only for me around happy hour. So it's day 5 without anything to drink. I feel really good. Woke up this morning with a lot of energy. The data looks great. My HRV continues to increase. My weight continues to go down. I have a mild headache today. I can't even say that it's attributed to not drinking, and it's not that bad. Last night we went out to eat, and we ate at a bar and sat at the bar, which is something I've always loved to do that I didn't think I would do once I quit drinking. I figured I always sat at the bar, so I got drinks faster. Maybe that's the case, but it's become a habit and I enjoy it. We went to a bar, a wine bar in Austin that actually serves that non-alcoholic IPA that I've come to love. Had a great dinner with everybody else drinking around me. It didn't bother me a bit. My wife had a glass of wine. I had no craving, no desire to drink anything at all. And it was a pretty normal night. I came back, watched some TV, fell asleep. I slept 8 hours, actual 8 hours of sleep. And in some ways being sober feels like a new high. It's kind of strange, but I'm enjoying it very, very much. I really don't see any downside to this. All of the things that I thought I was going to miss are fading away quickly. All of these silly things that I think kept me from quitting for years, all of these things that I thought I would lose, I've either realized that I didn't care about at all, or that I'm not going to lose them, that I can just continue to do them. I'll just enjoy them more because I'll be sober. Wow, it's day 6 already. Every day is better. Last night, I slept from the time I hit the bed until I woke up about 5 o'clock this morning straight. Did not wake up. I looked at the graph in my Oura Ring app and it was just a flat line. I went to bed, didn't roll over or didn't wake up all night long. I think that's the first time that has happened ever in my entire life. My heart rate variability has gone up again, and now my resting heart rate is down to 60 beats per minute, almost a full 10 beats per minute lower than it was just a week ago. I feel absolutely incredible. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just the amount of energy I have and the amount of focus. I always thought I was pretty quick-witted, but I've really noticed a marked improvement in just my overall ability to get things done and think through things quickly. And it seems like my stress and anxiety have sort of melted away. And this is just day 6. I've said it before, I'm very excited about what's to come. Well, day 7. It's been a week. It actually, I don't know, it seemed to go by faster than I thought it would. I feel great. I still have cravings. Yesterday in the store, I was buying non-alcoholic beer. I saw all my old friends, Juicy IPA and Stash and Goose Island lined up in a row, and I had to leave them behind. But I've been out to dinner twice. I've eaten at the bar both times. Once I get past that 6 p.m. urge to have something to drink, and usually have a non-alcoholic beer at that time, by 7:30, that's kind of past. The days are great. The only thing I really have to deal with is that craving at night. My data is absolutely amazing. My heart rate variability is way up. My weight's down. My sleep scores are incredible. I had the best night's sleep of my life last night. And I realized something yesterday. I don't know why it took me as long as it did, but this is just a habit. Alcohol abuse was a bad habit that I'd had for 4 decades, and I'm going to treat it as such. It's a habit I'm going to correct. And once I realized that, I also realized that I think I can have this completely licked within 30 days. I don't even think I'll think about it. I quit smoking many years ago, which I think might have been just a little bit more difficult than this because I craved a cigarette all day, every day, whereas the alcohol only hits me about once a day. And although I dreamt about smoking for many years after I quit, I don't think I remember craving a cigarette after a couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that happens the same way here. Regardless, I'm committed. I'm never going to drink alcohol again, and whatever it takes me to get from here to there, I'm going to do. This has not been easy, but it has not been nearly as difficult as I thought it could be with the amount of alcohol that I was drinking, the number of years that I had drank. The fact that I drank every single day. I was expecting something worse. There were times where I'd even considered over the years, if I was going to do this, that I'd need to put myself someplace. But I didn't need that. This is a habit that I'm able to break and take care of myself. I'm here with the support of my wife, and that's really all I needed. Put myself in some very familiar circumstances, and was prepared for whatever challenges came and met them. And this is just the start, but I'm very committed, and I'm very excited and very happy about the future, how I feel, the future of my health, my mental state, and everything else. I'll keep you posted. I promised you some data, and this stuff came primarily from my Oura Ring app, and the body weight came from Garmin Connect. I've got a wireless scale. But my average resting heart rate went from 83 beats per minute to 62 beats per minute over the period of a week. My sleep score went from 81 to 97, and that was probably the thing I noticed the most without even looking at the data. Is I felt much more refreshed, and during this process I learned from the Oura Ring that the amount of time you spend in the bed is not equal to the number of hours that you sleep. My weight dropped from 183.6 pounds to 180.6 pounds, 3 pounds of body weight lost in a period of a week. I don't know if that trend will continue. And the data that I was after from the beginning that really, I think, pushed me to stop drinking, or might have been the last straw, was the heart rate variability. And I'd started out with a score of 10 milliseconds. I'm not qualified to tell you what this means. You can do your own research if this is something that interests you. But when I got done at the end of 7 days, I had gone from 10 milliseconds to 28 milliseconds. And that means a big difference in my overall health. So that's, with all of this data and how I feel, I'm 100% convinced I'm never going to drink alcohol again. And if you're thinking the same thing, something I learned through this process is that alcohol abuse, at least my alcohol abuse, was a bad habit. It really wasn't anything else other than a bad habit. And I'm breaking that habit like I would any other habit. It takes willpower. And in this case, I used substitution. I drank a non-alcoholic beverage at the time I was craving an alcoholic drink. And in time, I will crave the non-alcoholic drink instead of the alcoholic one. I did the same thing when I quit smoking a long time ago. When I craved a cigarette, I would eat an apple. That might not have been the brightest substitution, because apples have 80 calories and there's 20 cigarettes in a pack, but it worked, and I took the weight off eventually anyway. So if you think about this in that light, and that your alcohol abuse is also a habit, it can be broken, and it takes a plan, some willpower, and decisiveness. You've got, if you're going to do this, you've got to go into it with no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going to do this. And that makes it a lot easier if you just make that decision. This isn't something I'm going to test. I'm not going to see how I feel and make a decision midway through. You've got to be committed, and I am. I'm never going to drink again.